Hey, what's going on? It's Mike, and I want to talk to you about, well, I don't even know what to call it. Is it IHOP? IHOB? I don't know. Hey, welcome back. If you have been living under a rock, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but most people watching this know that the International House of Pancakes just played quite an interesting marketing game and rebranded itself as the International House of Burgers, IHOB. And they did a pretty good job with this. I was very impressed with how they rolled this whole campaign out. They kind of teased it, we're going to change our name to IHOB. They didn't explain why or what that's going to mean. Then they ran a little bit of a poll on social media. Take a guess. What do you think? To vote. Is it, what do you think that's going to stand for? I think popular consensus was that it was going to be the International House of Breakfast. And that would make total sense, right? It was just, we're kind of broadening beyond pancakes. We're all about breakfast here at IHOP. But what they ended up doing then is coming out and talking about that we're becoming now the International House of Burgers. We have burgers on our menu, and we're doubling down, we're all in on burgers, and we're going to change our name. And of course, the internet went nuts. I mean, everybody went crazy. And they let that play out for a little while. They got roasted on Twitter by Wendy's, who actually did a great job, and Burger King, and everybody kind of piled on. Netflix tried to get in on the ad, kind of lame the way they did that. But a lot of brands jumped in and tried to steal a little bit of the glory. But IHOP made a lot of noise, and they got a lot of attention. There was news stories about it and YouTube videos, and there's just a lot of uproar. And then very quickly after that, the CEO of the holding company that owns both IHOP, or IHOB, I guess, and Applebee's came out and said, look, this is a campaign. Our name is IHOP. We're not going to leave this as a temporary change. We are the International House of Burgers. We're going to keep this brand for a while, but at some point we'll switch back. And he didn't say when or how long. So it became clear quickly that, okay, this is a campaign. This is a marketing ploy. And I got to tell you, as soon as I heard that, I was like, wow, well played. So here's the thing. In the market, there's some dynamics happening. And IHOP's been, if not flat, in a little bit of trouble. So if you think about all the paleo diet, high fat, low carb, approach to eating, all the gluten-free folks out there, which seems to be growing and growing, a place that sells pancakes and syrup really has a problem. You've got a shrinking market. And then add on top of that, IHOP is this kind of inexpensive, friendly place, casual. You can bring a big crowd of people and hang out, but it's a family place. You could show up with your 4 kids or your 6 kids, park in a booth, feed the family. It was very family friendly. Well, that's part of their demographic. And the fact of the matter is, fewer and fewer people are having children. And the ones that are having kids are not having as many. I mean, people just aren't having as many children anymore. And so you've got this shrinking demographic that goes to you as a standard. Let's just shoot over to IHOP, take the kids, and grab something to eat. And on top of that, people are avoiding the kind of food that you're selling. And I would add the third piece, which is if everybody thinks of you as pancakes, well, you're giving up a certain time slot. So you're going to hit breakfast, you're probably going to hit brunch, you might get some lunch crowd. And if you're open around the clock, I mean, there are people that are going to eat lunch, late lunch, dinner that probably aren't going to come to you because in their mind, you're a breakfast shop. And so I think those factors have been conspiring, just changing trends in the economy, changing trends in the socioeconomic status of people, changing trends in eating habits and nutrition. And they're sitting there, feeling the force of all that. And so they brought in this CEO back in September of last year. The guy that runs this holding company is well known for turning around a hotel chain that was struggling. And so he's been brought in to help bring the company around and make it profitable. And so this branding campaign that they rolled out, and they're using an agency, is it like Drago 5 or Draga 5 or something? I'll throw the name up on the screen here, but they're using this boutique agency. And I got to tell you, this is a really gutsy, courageous campaign. I just love the fact that they're putting themselves out there. They're doing something kind of against the market. They're doing something creative, innovative, and they're doing something that goes against the stream. It's not safe. And I think that is really smart. I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about that, because the fact of the matter is, they got really roasted online and people are making fun of them. Even their own fans are like, your burgers suck. I only go there for the pancakes. How dare you change my beloved IHOP? Now I gotta say, beloved IHOP, like I can't think of the last time I was in an IHOP. I mean, I probably avoid them. I mean, the last time I was even close to one, I remember it was like last summer. I was on my motorcycle and I needed to turn around, but it was kind of a busy street. So what I did is I pulled into an IHOP parking lot to kind of turn around and then, shoot back out. And I remember specifically, it kind of struck me. I pulled into the parking lot and the building looked kind of tired and a little ratty, and the parking lot had garbage in it. And I thought, now it was kind of empty. I don't remember what time of day it was, but I thought, this place is kind of gross. Like, I would just never eat here. And I don't know what the inside is like. So this isn't to slander IHOP. I actually want to give them props today, but I'm just saying, like, from a consumer perspective, I never think of IHOP as a destination. And I think, I might be articulating what a lot of people think. It's just not their bag. So, I don't know that IHOP needs to get me to walk in the door to be successful. I think there's a whole segment of the market, a broad segment of people that just want a quick, kind of easy place to go to, great food, in and out, low overhead, not expensive. And, people go to Denny's. It's the same kind of thing, right? So I think that they're struggling and they're not pulling from that market. And then you got people going across the street to Wendy's and Burger King and Smash Burger and all that to grab lunchtime and dinner time food. And all IHOP needs to do is siphon off a little bit of that traffic and get their already dedicated customers to think of them beyond pancakes. So, I'm going to grab a cowboy burger over at IHOB. So I think this is really clever. And I think, I think the numbers are going to show that this is clever. So when this guy took over in September, the stock has been steadily climbing. So clearly there's a lot of market confidence in his ability to turn the company around. And I think the market likes some of the things that they've been doing at Applebee's as well as IHOP. But I think the interesting thing to me will be to see how the long-term effect or impact of this campaign plays out in the stock price. Now, of course, when this campaign rolled out on Monday, there's a quick spike in the stock numbers, but that's unless you do something really stupid, your stock price is going to go up when you do something interesting and innovative. So that might be a temporary spike. I'd be curious to see over the long haul where their stock price ends up. But I'm really impressed with this. I just think this is gutsy and it takes courage. And I think that's kind of the lesson for me. It's like, oftentimes in business, we're faced with some kind of challenge. We're faced with a tough market, competition, dwindling sales, and you kind of get fearful. And I talked a little bit about this in a previous episode about being fearful. It was about attitude, and I was like, my company was going down the tubes during the economic crisis, and I was holding on so tight, and I got so fearful that I was unable. I was too bound up to make good decisions. And I think when we're struggling, when we feel that competitive pressure, when we feel that heat, we want to play it safe. We want that sure shot. But what the market is looking for is confidence. What the market is looking for is leadership and innovation. And that's often the time that you've got to be willing to take a risk. You got to put yourself out there. And here's the thing. I think in our culture, now I don't know about other cultures. I don't know about India or China or some of these other cultures, but in the American culture, in our society, when in our values and the things that we look up to and respect, we respect risk takers. We respect them. We were founded on risk takers. People coming over the ocean in ships in the 1700s, making a deadly journey to face an unknown. They were risk takers. Even how the West was settled. I mean, forget what you think about identity, politics, and cultural appropriation, all that stuff. The fact of the matter is, even if the cowboy is portrayed in the John Wayne movies, which we all love, we love them, right? You better love John Wayne. He's the man, him and Clint Eastwood. But regardless of how they're portrayed, how accurate that is, the fact of the matter is the pioneers and the people that went out west, they were risk takers. They fared through all kinds of dangers and deprivation for a new future. And so as a culture and as a society, we respect risk takers. And so I think when your back is up against the wall, when you're struggling for revenues, when you need margin, when you need to find a way to win the game, this kind of let's fall back, let's do the safe play. I mean, sometimes you have to do that, I get it. But I think IHOP's willingness to play risky ball, to play for keeps, saying we want to score. We don't just want to maybe try to get a guy on base and hope that a few things go our way. We're swinging for the fences on this one. And it doesn't smack of desperation. I mean, this isn't a Hail Mary. It's confidence. I mean, it comes across as confidence. So I like what they're doing. I think it's wonderful. And I think it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see companies willing to take a risk. They're not pandering to social policies. They're not trying to play in the latest politics. They're not taking some kind of self-righteous stand to get people to like them. They're not trying to hijack other people's news. They're leading. They're leading and they're being gutsy. And they're having a little fun in the process. It's creative and it's innovative. And I think that's fantastic. And so I think for you and I, the lesson to be learned, potentially, I think we have to watch and see how this thing plays out. But if my prognostication is correct, I think this is going to play out really well for them. But I think the lesson to learn is where can we be big? Where can we play big? Where can we take leadership risks? Where can we demonstrate creativity in our business to the market? I think that the market likes that. People want to see companies that are willing to put themselves out there in a way that's authentic, but in a way that makes them vulnerable. Wendy's made fun of them. A bunch of companies made fun of them, but I would argue that only helped them. That they weren't being made fun of for a mistake. They didn't send a salad out to somebody and it had a cigarette butt in it, and that made social media and then everybody dogpiled. Wendy's and their competition and the news media and the pundits, everybody jumped on and made fun of them for taking a risk and for leading. And there's a huge difference there. And so I think you watch, you're going to see that this company is going to, over the next 6 months, 12 months, they're going to be thriving. And you're going to see them in the news again. And here's why. This is the genius of this whole project. By putting themselves out there, by changing the name, then saying it's temporary, they're going to get a whole nother news cycle when they change back to IHOP. This is really a smart campaign. Hats off to the CEO of IHOP. Hats off to the chief marketing officer of IHOP, and hats off to this agency that is advising them and coming up with this creative. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I'm impressed. I might just go check out the restaurant. I know that's not what you want, but I might go check it out because as a marketer, as a consultant, as a business guy, as an entrepreneur, I respect you for this. This tells me something about the leadership and about the hunger and drive of your company that I like. So kudos. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. If you like this video, well then give me a like, give me a thumbs up. That's what this is all about. It's all about the gratification, isn't it? Oh wait, no, it's all about providing you great content. If you like content that has to do with entrepreneurialism, success, wealth creation, value creation, abundance, branding, marketing, then subscribe. Join me if you haven't done so already. I'd love to have you join the conversation. Love to have you become part of the community. But most of all, I'm grateful for your time. Thank you for spending time and watching this. If you guys think that I'm right in my assessment, leave me a comment below. If you think I'm crazy, leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think about this whole IHOP play, and let's talk about it a little bit. So guys, thanks so much for your time. You know I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video.